All right, so today I'm going to talk about Michelangelo. Michelangelo, however you want to say his name. This is a self-portrait of him. Actually, he used a mirror to to paint his own himself. Um, what we really know about with Michelangelo more is of the Sistine Chapel and his many statues, especially the one of David. Um, he was part of Florence. He was a part of the Medici group, we'll put it that way. He was commissioned by them, and he actually lived through the exiling of the Medici family, or the movement of them not being in power anymore. Excuse me, and and actually created a statue that kind of went against the Medici family, um, not in their artistic views, but in showing of power um, that the people had and should have had over the Medicis. So this TED Ed video is next. I'm not going to show it to you, but you can watch it. But I will give you guys a little background on it. So the naked guy to your left is the statue of David that Michelangelo had sculpted. And it's really interesting. This TED Ed video shows you how meanings of paintings and pictures, statues, and even also the aspect of writings can change that like painting or whatever when it's put into a different spectrum or a different place. So the sculpture of David is 17 feet tall, and it was supposed to be placed in front of the Grand Cathedral with 11 other biblical statues. Now the thing is that all of these biblical statues were supposed to be up high, so when people would come to the Grand Cathedral, they would look up as they were looking up at the heavens. Remember how a lot of the early works of art were like this, where you looked up. It made your eyes move up to look at the heavens, because you were supposed to be at that point worshiping God. And a lot of times when you went into cathedrals and those types of aspects, they had domes, and the domes had light in it, allowing light to come in from the top because they wanted you to feel as if you were looking up at God and viewing what you should be viewing. And this is what Michelangelo and the other sculptors that were supposed to create these biblical works of art, excuse me again, were doing for this cathedral. Um, Unfortunately, none of the other 11 were made, and what happens is that Michelangelo creates David, and it is put instead in front of the new government building to show the republic that they have in Florence now. And during this time, the new government building was built and showing power of the people and not of the Medici family who was exiled. But there was a Medici that was actually the Pope that was in Rome. So what they did with this statue was actually put it in front of like I said, in front of the government building and looking towards Rome as to say that, hey, David was somebody that slayed, Goliath, a giant, and we can do the same thing with Rome. Rome is like the Goliath. It's like it's the giant, and Florence is not. Florence is more like David, but don't underestimate our power. Um, and it's kind of interesting now. It's not there. There is a replica of the statue that is there, but the real statue is actually in a museum. And when you go view this statue, the um, the hands of David uh, is way bigger. The right hand of David is way bigger than proportionate, and Michelangelo did this because it was made the statue is made from you for us to look from bottom to top instead of at it pretty much eye level. So it's really interesting how these Renaissance thinkers and artists throughout time, and even literary aspects and all of that stuff, they move through this time frame to actually show different views and stuff like that of how these meanings of their paintings and aspects can change um, during this time. So it's really interesting to see that stuff. I feel like we've already done this. We looked at Sistine Chapel. Yeah, we already did this, but I did want to give you guys a little, info on that. We were on actually Shakespeare. Totally lost it. My fault. All right, so Shakespeare. We watched this video yesterday. All the world's a stage, and I not yesterday, but Tuesday, and I talked about it a little bit. Um, probably one of my favorite poems to deal with and to dissect. So Shakespeare, you guys all know Shakespeare. You've gone over Shakespeare in your literature classes, or you're going to go over Shakespeare in your literature classes. Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. He's got so much stuff that he did, and that he gave to the English language is one of the things that we don't really realize with Shakespeare and why he's such a Renaissance thinker. And he's not really associated with what we would think of the Renaissance because he's not from Italy. But he really truly embodies what a Renaissance person was during this time. So if we move forward here, we're looking at where most of his plays were actually performed here. Um, and you can see uh, you have wooden seats. It is a theatrical setting. It is a very intimate setting um, where most of his plays were performed. Um, it is all made of wood. It is outside. You are part of the elements. Cold, warm, rain, snow, whatever. You can see how the stage is small. Um, Not that big of a stage, but it's still an area where um, Shakespeare really uh, became Shakespeare that we know today. And you can still go see plays at this theater. For some reason, the theater is the name of the theater is really slipping my mind at this moment. Um, Shakespeare's Globe. That's what it's called, the Globe. Um, it's a reconstruction of the actual Globe Theater. But this is where Shakespeare actually had his plays was in the Globe Theater, and here you can see the reconstruction of it. Um, but imagine seeing a play in that. It's totally outside, very intimate setting where you feel like you're pretty much part of the play. So if you guys want to, you can get on to your Nearpod, and you can actually go through these and look at the Globe Theater and zoom in and everything. Um, so, but the cool thing about Shakespeare was he obviously is considered one of the greatest playwrights, if not the greatest, and one of the finest poets. But as a boy, he actually studied Latin and classical literature in grammar school. So that's why he is thought of as being part of the Renaissance aspect to it, because he looked at Latin and he looked at classical aspects to jog his mind of an understanding of how old ways of doing something was, but making it his own. And his plays really go from many different subjects, with history and politics to music and art. Like he was a guy who was very mysterious. His reputation was, and he was very observant, and a lot of his stuff that he did was actually shown this way, and how he created plays. But he also was a humoristic type guy. He thought deeply about life and its sufferings. Like he was a he kind of reminds me of one of those crazy deep thinkers, um, who uh, who thinks the world's falling down around them at all points in times, and then is worried sick about stuff, but really comes up with some good ideas during their crazy deep thinking time frame. So, just some of the posters for their plays. You got Hamlet, the complete plays in one sitting, William Shakespeare. You've got Macbeth. Um, you've got Othello, and you have his most famous Romeo and Juliet. Um, so he was also a skilled actor. He had enormous talent for expressing thoughts and feelings in memorable words. Uh, his plays show that he had a deep understanding of human behavior and emotions, and above all, he had the skill to present his understanding through vivid characters and exciting drama. He was interested in keeping people's um, interest throughout the plays. His poetry is widely admired, especially the 14-line poems that are called sonnets. He's best known, however, for his 38 plays. He wrote both comedies and tragedies, and many of his plays are still performed around the world, and several have been made into developed television series or movies. Romeo and Juliet has been made. Hamlet, I know, has. There's a bunch of them that have been made into, movies or television series. He also had a deep influence on later writers. He also left a lasting mark on the English language. Many common sayings from Shakespeare, such as "much ado about nothing," people often quote his witty, wise lines, sometimes without knowing that they actually owe their clever or graceful words to Shakespeare. And I don't know if I have it or not, but I don't. Shakespeare, let me make sure I know I'm giving you the right number, but he added thousands of words to the English language, um, that he created. Um, so if we look at this, 1,700 of our common words by changing sounds into verbs and verbs into adjectives and so forth and so on. So when you really look at Shakespeare, Shakespeare is a Renaissance thinker, and he is a very, very smart guy during this time. You might think his plays are boring. You might think they're not fun to read, watch, so forth or so on. But during his time, he was when he was a playwright, and he was um, part of the theatrical scene. He was a very sought after person to see. He was like a celebrity during that point in time. Um, so this is a video, I think, from Crash Course, if I remember correctly. It's 11 minutes long, and they talk about
Hey, Mike, this
um,
is Crash Theater, and
just some of
remember
the
the
stuff
guy we
he
said that
has.
we weren't going to talk about in the last episode?
So if you're interested in watching it, that's all on you. I know some of you are interested in literature and those aspects of playwrights and so forth and so on. Um, you're more than welcome to watch that. It's on here. If you need it to be allowed, I will gladly allow your videos. Um, so tomorrow we are going to look at science and mathematics and start looking at Mr. Da Vinci himself, the guy that I think is the most influential person from this time frame. But that's my own thoughts and not yours and not anyone else's. Um, so you can either agree or disagree with me. I'm perfectly fine with that. Also, make sure you're trying to make up work if you have work that you need to make up for me. I am not accepting anything. We got an email today. Our grades are due the 26th of May. Um, I will not accept anything past that Monday. Monday the 25th is the final day. Again, Monday the 25th is the final day I will accept grades for work from anybody. I am putting grades in that night. I will not accept them any later than that day. All right. Um, Make sure you're working on your final project. It is worth 40 points. You have 2 weeks to finish 10 slides. I know some of you have been working on it. You have been messaging me and asking me for some advice and how to and also to allow your videos. If you need a video allowed, send me the link and I will gladly click on it, allow the video so you can put that in your presentation. If you need help, please ask. I don't want to see any of you guys fail this fourth 9 weeks because of failure to do work. Um, I definitely have time to help you if you need it. So please get your work done. I don't want to put anything in there that you have to fail the class because of this 9 weeks. I don't think you guys should have to fail the class because of this 9 weeks. If you show me some type of effort, um, I will definitely give you a passing grade. Not saying you're going to get an A, B, or C, but you'll have a passing grade at least. Um, so if you guys need help, please ask. Tomorrow we'll go over Mr. Da Vinci, and we're getting close to being done with the Renaissance. We're at 64 of 88. So if you guys need anything, please let me know. I'll screencast to you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.